Good morning.
It is.
I'm at where things come into my life that aren't necessarily, I don't feel enjoyment or good. I ask, why do I need this contrast? How do I create this? And try and find a reason for the purpose of it being there.
Well, we can make it really simple for you. The reason that it is there is because you were not focused upon what you wanted. It's sort of like if you drive your car into the ditch. Do you sit there for a long time and try to comprehend why you're in the ditch, or do you just start trying to figure out how to get out of the ditch? And it's the same sort of thing. In other words, you got in the ditch because you weren't paying attention. And you get out of the ditch by paying attention. And for a while, after you get out of the ditch, you usually pay more attention for a while. In fact, sometimes even when you see somebody else in the ditch, you pay more attention for a while. We think that what's complicating this is that it is true, and we really recommend that you make the best of whatever happened. So sometimes when you're in a place that you don't want to be, it is to your greater advantage to say, well, I received this clarity from it and I received this value from it, rather than saying, well, this was just a really dumb thing and no good has come from it. And so it is always good to do your best to look for the positive aspects. But we would not spend any time looking for the lesson or looking for the value when you're in some spot that you clearly don't want to be in. We would just start saying, wait a minute, it's not luck and it's not chance and it's not karma and it's not what somebody else did. I had my vibration, my attention upon something that brought me right here. And now I'm here, I'm really, really sure I don't want to be here. I think I won't do that again. I think I'll start thinking about things that feel better to me when I think about them, you see. Mm-hmm. That's really what we would do, because anything else just muddies the water. For example,
I'm over this, but it's an example that happened to me, is the cruise for Mexico. I had bought my cruise from another friend who's a travel agent. Well, the tour company wanted to charge me $100 on top of the tickets for your tickets. You've heard this. And so immediately I got angry, thinking, money grubbing, all the stuff that go with that. And so I hung up the phone, called her back, and I said, do you really need this money? And she said, to put me in your database? She said, yes, we do. So I hung up the phone again. I was still angry. And I said, why is this coming to me? Why do I need this drama in my life? I mean, I don't understand why these people would want that from me. So as I'm questioning this, what came to me was, you know what? It was to give me a choice to say, if they need the money, give them the money. And so I made a conscious choice to say, okay, you need the money, you feel good about getting the money? I'll give you the money. And I felt a lot better in the moment. I still have remnants of it a little bit. And
really?
But I want to be real clear. I didn't come here to throw that out. I mean, I honestly...
Oh, really?
Well, that's one. It's I guess, a current issue. Anyways, so I kind of felt better about it. And what I learned from that...
Well, it's a good example of something that you expected to be one way and you wanted to be one way and you found it another way. So the concurrent journeys that we're talking about. So there is this action journey where you're trying to figure out, do they have a valid reason for doing it? Do I need to do some research about it? In other words, should I call Jerry and Esther and find out if they know about it? And there are all of those things that you could do and maybe still may want to do, or you can take the emotional journey as you decided and say, so here is where I'm at. I can not play with them at all and feel good about it, or I can not play with them at all and feel bad about it, or I can play with them and feel good about it, or I can play with them and feel bad about it. And there's not a right or a wrong choice about whether you go or whether you don't go, but there is an appropriate choice in terms of aligning energy about whether you go and feel good about it or don't go and feel good about it. And so what you said was, well, I want to go on the cruise, so it's a much better idea for me to go, you concluded, and then you wisely decided that if I'm going to go, then I have to line up with that. In other words, because I can't or I'm not willing to go through enough antics to make the process be changed. We'll just give you a little background here. With the original cruise, the agreement that Jerry and Esther struck with the people who are organizing the cruise is that people who took the cruise would book through them. And in fact, it was even written in everything that was sent out. And then many people, like yourself, other people who were affiliated with other cruise lines for a lot of different reasons, either did not see that or chose to ignore it, and so they booked without going through the original cruise line. And what happened was there was confusion about the gifts that were put in the room, all kinds of things. The dining was hard for them to arrange because they didn't have access to the names, and so the people didn't end up at the right dining tables or at the right dining times. The handful of people that chose to do that caused more trouble than the rest of the participants all put together. In other words, it was tremendous amount of effort and work for them to coordinate those lists with the cruise lines and with the other cruise lines and with Holland America and with Jerry and Esther's office. And so when the decision was made to do it again, they asked, we would like it to be stated that, and Jerry and Esther agreed that that is the way it would be, and Jerry and Esther thought that it was agreed that they would take no bookings at all. If people were wanting to book other than, and so that was the last thing that Jerry and Esther had heard about it before they received your email. So now as you hear the rest of this information, you may feel more soothed about it. And we are happy to give it to you, and Jerry and Esther are happy to give it to you because they want you to feel soothing about it. But in all of that, there is a sort of justifying of a position that Jerry and Esther are uncomfortable in offering. In other words, they're wanting you to feel good without justifying the decisions that they've made, and without having to give you all of the detail and all of the background of that. In other words, there is not enough time in their day to explain to you and everyone else all of the reasons that are behind all of the decisions that they make. And they would like you to get into a place where you trust them enough to trust that they've made the best decision that they can make given the information available. And we would like you to realize that giving everyone that benefit of the doubt is the fastest route to you lining up with your energy. Now, the reason that people worry about that is because it's still this thing that we were talking about earlier with Esther wanting to be right rather than wanting the well. There's this feeling that, yes, but aren't I just caving in? Don't I become a doormat? If everybody just has their way with me and I just say, oh, la-di-da, it's all right, I care more about feeling good, then won't everybody take advantage of me? And we say, that's the culprit that's stuck in your craw. Mm-hmm. There's this residing bubble going on there that says people do take advantage of me, and it's an active enough vibration that then it shows up in lots of different places where nobody's taking advantage of you, and even if they are, even if somebody is making an effort to take advantage of you, you will not line up with anyone who's trying to take advantage of you unless you have that vibration active in your vibration that says somebody's trying to take advantage of me.
Okay.
So the rule of thumb always is, don't soothe yourself because the cruise agency deserves it or because Jerry and Esther do. Soothe yourself because you deserve it. Soothe yourself because nothing is worth your being out of alignment, you see. And each time you soothe yourself, what happens is you soothe that thing that's stuck in your craw, and then fewer and fewer things like that turn up, you see.
Okay. All right, well, now I'm bothered for even bringing it up because I came here I did my email and I agreed with the folks in California. It bothers me that it even came out of my mouth here today. I mean, where do I go with that?
So now you're in a new place, and there is not an emotion that is pointing at a more wasted time of life than the emotion of regret.
It gives me the example of why do I need this contrast now? Why did that come out of my mouth today?
Because, and this is where you get the idea that there are lessons in things. You still have this thing stuck in your craw that people will take advantage of you. And a lot of people do. Esther nearly fell off her chair this morning when she saw how much her bowl of oatmeal cost. and Esther has a lot of money. And Esther spends money on things and doesn't think anything about it, but you're always trying to keep things in balance. You're always wanting there to be value for what you're offering. The value is always there when you're in alignment with expecting value. And that's why we say, and we would say it to Esther too, your journey must be about how good you're feeling. Your journey must be about your sense of prosperity. And when you are nitpicking over different things, it gives you an opportunity to understand how you really feel about that. In other words, it gives you an opportunity to acknowledge that there is still some shortage mentality going on in your vibration. And in Esther's too, when she's worried about the bowl of oatmeal. In other words, it's something that you all pick up along your physical trail, but it is something that does not serve you very well. And the way you get around that is by caring more about how you feel than trying to sort out all of the details of all of the action of all of the people that you are interacting with. None of you came to the place of feeling that there was a certain amount of resources that are being sort of divvied out. You didn't come to that incorrect feeling or thought process all at once. You picked it up over lots of interaction with lots of different people over a long period of time. And so it is not logical that in one fell swoop you're just going to say, well, that belief doesn't serve me anymore, so I'm going to believe this instead. You're little by little by little by little showing yourself one opportunity at a time how you really feel about this. So as this comes up, as you get your room service bill and you see how much you paid for a bowl of oatmeal and you feel uncomfortable about it for a moment, and then you stop and you say, well, wait a minute, I had the choice and I could have brought my own food bar if I'd wanted to, and they are in business here, and everybody gets to set their own prices, and this is a place that has a lot of things that a lot of other places don't have to offer, and I knew that when I opted for it, and this whole experience was about raising my vibration relative to prosperity, and I can feel that I'm still a little sensitive on that, and you could bring yourself into alignment so you feel better. We're wanting you to understand that even when you are co-creating with Jerry and Esther, you are still the creator of your own experience, and while they both have a tendency to want to feather everyone's nest in the best possible way that they can because they care very much about everyone being uplifted and having a very good time, still, the issues that you have that are percolating within you are going to percolate within you under any and all conditions. And we think that what this situation did, it just revved your desire up in a stronger way, which made your resistance show up in a stronger way. And that is the advantage always of getting clear about what you want. When you get very clear about what you want, your resistance always shows up more. In the same way that when you drive 100 miles an hour and hit a tree, it's a bigger deal than when you drive 5 miles an hour and hit a tree.
Yeah, because of the 5 most important things in my life, that cruise was one of those. Next to, mother dying, very important things in my life. I mean, I had a transition there. It was just powerful. And so then the second one to have that pop up was like, whoa, what is going on here? But anyways, I feel better, thank you.
Now you know what's going on.
I know what's going on.
And so is the answer, you just need to roll over and let everybody have their way with you?
No.
Or is the answer, when I co-create, I will give myself the benefit of the doubt by giving others the benefit of the doubt?
That's a much better.
And does that mean that it is inappropriate for you to have an opinion about something?
No, but I get stuck in that because I do end up feeling guilty or feeling like I shouldn't be having this feeling. I should be beyond it.
Well, a feeling of guilt is misalignment. A feeling of blame is misalignment. In other words, and that's why we want to point out these choices. You can go and feel good. You can go and feel bad.
Yeah.
You cannot go and feel good. You cannot go and feel bad. And it doesn't matter whether you go or not, but it matters that you feel good about the choice that you've made.
Well, I'm going and I'm going to feel good.